What's the worst thing your parents caught you doing as a kid? When we were about 6 years old, me and a friend were having a contest seeing who could pee the furthest out the 3rd story window. Some nosy lady from across the street ratted us out to his parents. I still think I won, but we didn't get a chance to check who peed the furthest. Legend. I wrote B on my notebook in 1st grade with one of those giant training pencils. Forgot the T, of course. Bitch is Latin for generosity. The first one was when I was 6 or so. I was a fairly curious child and one day I took a giant poop. After I cleaned up, I decided to get a pair of gloves and dissect my poop to see what all was in it. My mom caught me and gave me heck about it all the way through adulthood. I thought that last line was going to be, "Honey, please don't put your boyfriend's dong in your mouth anymore." Peeing into the air vents on the floor. Oh my god, I did this. To this day, I had no idea what led me there. I'm not alone anymore. My mom got 5-year-old me one of those giant novelty suckers that came with a pretty sturdy wooden handle. I decided to test the strength of the stick by pushing it against my bedroom wall as hard as possible. Such a strong stick. Dad walked in just as I poked a 6-inch hole in the drywall. My little sister had fallen asleep with her sucker the day before and got the whole thing stuck in her hair. No more giant suckers. Painting the garage floor with oil and destroying a waterbed with steak knives. My brother and I were both under the age of 5 when these things happened. He's older than me by about a year and a half and made other horrendous messes before I could start participating in them, including opening all the Kool-Aid packets onto the kitchen floor and emptying an entire can of Crisco onto the bottom few steps in the house. He was bad. Our younger brother is 6 years younger than me and was way worse in the mess department. He threw all my bottles of nail polish all over my room and destroyed most of my stuff so I wasn't allowed to have any more. He cut up most of our pictures from when we were kids. Remember when you could refill your own ink cartridges at home with a kit? He sprayed a whole pack of that stuff all over the living room, including the ceiling. Ruined the carpet completely. A few years ago I caught my daughters in the garage spraying themselves with WD-40 like it was Chanel No. 5. When my sister was 3, she was caught hiding behind a trash can eating butter after we specifically told her not to. When I was about 6, I was watching an episode of Pokemon. I had to pee but didn't want to miss anything, so I peed in a trash can. I thought that was super clever at the time, but as soon as my mom got home she could smell it, and 21 years later she still remembers. Not me, but they caught my 3-year-old sister eating chips in a small dark closet at 3 AM. Did I mention she was also naked? We've all been there. My best friend's mom caught us spanking each other's bare asses. That was fun. What age though? At age 5 I used my dad's shaver on my lips without shaving cream. Don't ask why. I did the same to my chin at around that age. Was supposed to be cleaning. Found my cousin's razor and figured I'd shave. I bought a VHS video camera. Saved up money for so long to buy it from a dirty wee second-hand shop. I came home one day to find my mum had been, and still was, recording episodes of daytime TV shite. Over my hours and hours, and hours of masturbatory action. No words spoken, ever. Parents would always catch my little sister sucking on Velcro straps on shoes, in the closet. Don't you hate when that happens? Told my mom I was going into the woods to build a fort. I went into the woods but brought my Game Boy, which I was grounded from, and a supply of batteries. Played Pokemon out there for several hours next to a tree until my mom came out into the woods and found me. Big trouble for me. Sending dirty emails to a stranger I met on Omegle. I was like 12, pretending to be 16. I thought that was mature. I only got grounded for like 2 weeks. Oh yikes, I've been there. Never got caught but definitely did some dumb crap. Not my parents but my sister's friends. My mom was making me take a bath when I was fully nude. I ran for the door and left to the backyard, and my sister's friends and my sister saw me and I waved at them. This isn't bad unless you were a teenager or something at the time, and then it's hilarious. Not me, but my best friend growing up. We found some porno mags in a field behind his house that he took home. When he would take a shower, he would cut out images of the girls, stick them to the inside of the shower and do the deed, then flush the pic. Eventually he had a porno mag consisting of all men, with the women all cut out. Needless to say, his dad found them and thought he was gay for a few years before talking with him about it. OMG, thanks for the gold, kind stranger. This is hilarious. One time my mother walked in on my girlfriend and I having sex to tell me that my father cut his finger off and that they were going to hospital. There was a lot to unpack in that moment. You could fill a TV miniseries with this comment. I can't remember how old I was, but I was playing with an arrow, no tip on it, and I had the bright idea to walk up behind my dad while he was working on the mower and crack him in the back of his head with it. When I was about 5 probably, I decided to literally headbutt my dad. He was talking to a neighbor at the end of the driveway, so my dumbass self decided to take off at a run from by the garage door and ram my head right at his butt. I deserved that spanking, one of very few I had growing up. Mixing toothpaste with water while I was bathing. I was a stupid kid. Less of a kid, more of a teen. But my dad walked in my room right after me and my GF got done doing the deed. I was standing, facing the door, cleaning myself up. His only word was wiener, while covering his eyes and shutting the door. A natural defense mechanism to keep out the wiener's influence. I'm female. When I was 4 my mom caught me trying to sit backwards on the toilet. When I was 37, she walked in my room and found me passed out mid-masturbation with pee playing. She turned off the pee. Thanks mom. Every time when I'm almost passed out after doing it, I hear a giant, loud noise coming from nowhere. It alarms me to get up and clean myself in the most extreme fashion. At this point I'm convinced it is my brain who makes up the noise because he knows he's going to be in trouble if he doesn't. I have a seriously distinct memory of this, despite being so young, so bear with me. I'd say I was around maybe 3-4 years old. Someone left a turd in the toilet and I remember thinking it looked distinctly pickle shaped. So in my young child mind I thought, hey, a pickle, and went to grab it out of the toilet. I realized it wasn't a pickle when it squished between my fingers and my mom saw the excrement on my hands. She never brought it up to me when I was older, however. I used to sleep on the toilet when I was 6 cause my mom forced me out of bed in the morning. Once she caught me and put a towel behind my head then took a picture. I used to get up to poop at night and fall asleep on the shitter. Mom would come in and wake me up. Found weird POV lookalikes of my fav YouTubers at the time and emailed them to my best friend for laughs. My email was signed into the iPad my parents were using. Those probably weren't lookalikes. I took my dad's sports car, Jaguar XKR, on a joyride. When I got back to the house my dad was waiting in the front yard with boxing gloves. That's when you slow down, make eye contact and gun it past your house. Go big or go home. My mom found me making death traps in the woods with a knife my dad gave me after I left his house. I used to do something like that, but instead of death traps, it was spears. So I was around 14 yo. I had just discovered P on the internet and was home alone. Thing is, the only computer we had in the house was in the living room, and the living room was right in your face as soon as you would enter the house from the main entrance. So I was doing my stuff when I heard the key plays in the lock outside the door. I did not have time to put my pants all the way back up. My whole family entered the room to see me stare at nothing else than the window home screen. In complete panic I stood up and my pants almost fell off. I grabbed them right in time for my mom to ask me, WTF are you doing? In panic I just brushed it off and said, these pants are way too big, I think I need new belts. A few days later I was shopping with my mom for new belts. I kept telling myself they bought my story, but now that I'm older, I just know they knew and it haunts me to this day. I don't know why, but as a kid I would put my hand in my pants because it felt warm in there, not for any other reason. It happened unintentionally sometimes. One morning I woke up to my parents looking at me concerned. I was confused until I looked down. As you can guess, my hand was in my pants, and I immediately took them out. My parents were crying laughing, but I was so embarrassed. That night my mom gave me the talk. I do that too, when I'm going to sleep, just instinctively. I've woken up panicked because my hand was in my pants for no reason. My dad came down while I was watching Baba Station when I was a kid. In my panic I changed the channel, but it landed on a gay version as he walked in. That makes me cringe so hard, but that's still so freaking funny. When I was probably 4 years old, one time, I pooped in the bushes, but went inside to get toilet paper afterward, but thought that I should wipe where I pooped, so I went outside to wipe, leaving the toilet paper with the poop. I'm 41 and my family still brings it up. When I was about 7 or 8, I accidentally left the lid off of our dog food outside and it ended up raining that night. A couple days later it was infested with maggots. I didn't know how to kill bugs, so products I deemed as harsh or dangerous went into the dog food maggot soup. They had doubled by the next day, so I figured I'll burn them out. Poured some fuel for our weed whacker in and lit it up. The first initial flame was pretty impressive in size, but it scared me, so I grabbed our hose and sprayed it down. Within a week it was bubbling in its own and hanging outside plants close to its stated to die. I eventually tried to move it. My mom came out, saw me trying to move it and smelled the terrible concoction and decided to call the fire department. IDK if they misunderstood or thought it was currently on fire, but they sent 2 fire trucks, 4 cop cars, then guys in full body suits. They shut down our whole block for hours. First they thought we were trying to build a lab, then a bomb or something. I broke down and confessed everything to one of the officers. Thinking for sure I was going to jail, I apologized to my mom, hugged my dog and gave her my favorite toy. Instead I got a firm talking to by several adults, and I guess they had to take my toxic poison mixture in the middle of nowhere and bury it. I was in trouble for so long, and it became a funny story to tell. Don't play chemicals, kids. When I was a teen I would push my parents' car out of the driveway and go have fun. I always killed it and coasted back in. Did this for quite a while. One night I was at a party and let my friend drive it back. We got pulled over and they impounded the car. My dad had no car to go to work in the morning. It did not go over well. My brother took my dad's car and did donuts in a parking lot. Hit one of the front wheels on those concrete space dividers, the like 4 inches tall ones. Totally fricked up the alignment, etc. Tried to claim it happened while he was pulling into the driveway. My dad did not believe him. One morning my dad caught me sitting on the kitchen counter drinking Hershey's syrup straight out of the can. I used to pee in anything but the toilet. My mom caught me trying to pee into sinks, closets, trash cans, toys, air conditioning vents, a ficus, and my personal favorite off a 2nd-story indoor balcony. I was also caught searching butthole and butthole on the family computer when I was 6, but jokes on you mom, I searched all the bad words. Those are just the ones you found. Not so much caught, but occurred in plain sight. I sleepwalked into a living room cocktail party and peed into a bowl of chips in front of a dozen adults. I had a drunk roommate would wake up and think the fridge was the bathroom and pee into it. Also the kitchen drawers. And one time he took his dog for a walk but forgot her and just took the leash for a walk without the dog. I heard the funniest story from my friend's mom. Apparently she always loved to get to her mom's purse and empty the content and play with whatever was in there. Her interest was mostly her mom's lipstick and makeup. Like every other little girl, once when they had just come back from a family trip, she opens the purse and finds a condom. She has no idea what it is. She opens it and thinks it's a balloon and starts blowing it. Mom comes to the room, condom in her mouth trying to blow it, and she turns around and asks her mom, why is the balloon so oily lol? It was obviously lubricated. Her mom snatches the condom off her hands and gets super angry, gives her a timeout and forbids her from ever touching her purse again. She said it was not until she was in her 20s that she remembered the memory and realized what the balloon was lol. Oh new rule mayo. I was recording myself dancing, naked, and showing my butt being opened to the camera. I keep thinking what went through my mind that day. I was probably 5 when this happened. I was wandering around my house looking for fun when I saw my dad shaving his beard with a razor. I had a crazy idea. When my dad was done with shaving, I grabbed it off the counter and ran outside to my pet dog. I started shaving my dog, and when I was halfway through my mom spotted me through the kitchen window. TLDR. I was bored, so I grabbed my dad's razor and shaved my dog, and got caught. Edit. Yes, it did grow back, but it took 14 full weeks to fully recover. I was probably like 5 years old and I was playing outside in the backyard by myself, and things must have gotten crazy because I started kissing on the basketball hoop. the pole, and all of a sudden I hear my mom from the window go, "I can see you." Drinking my little brother's pee from the potty. I was 4. He was 2. I don't understand why I did it. I tried to kill my younger sibling. It was maybe an accident, but they were convinced that I didn't like him. He is okay and my best friend to this day. You shouldn't say I tried to cause, then it seems like you did it on purpose. You should say I almost killed my younger sibling on accident, but my parents were convinced I didn't like him. Luckily he is okay, and now we are very close. I stuck a Danish pastry into the VHS player and melted Lego blocks into the air holes for our furnace. My mother and my father probably wish they never had me at the time. I was an evil baby. I fell asleep watching Latino Lovers. Dad walks in at 3 AM asking me to turn down the TV. Sees naked people. I told him I fell asleep watching an Eddie Murphy movie. He totally believed me. Yes. Dude, he made you think he believed you. Your dad is a good dad. I am a guy. When I was 4, I was caught undressing my sister's Barbie by my mom. In my defense, I don't like the white dress it was wearing, so tried to change it to red spare dress it had, which I liked better. My mom's argument, "What are you doing mid playtime? Away from your toys and looking at your sister's Barbie making it naked?" I did not win that argument as I blamed the dog mid argument, lol. I was caught getting a blowjob from my girlfriend. Not ashamed, it was great. I didn't realize my mom got home, she screamed then ran. She later wouldn't stop laughing at us both at dinner. I was 15. You have been visited by the comfortable garlic bread of good back support. Subscribe to Updoot Reddit in 3 weeks or never sit comfortably again. You have a lot of time for this one. I understand if you're busy, no rush. Like and subscribe, you magnificent person.